Hey, I forgot to say this in the video. I know I got a microphone, got better quality, but the four things that you should know before becoming a teacher, if you can handle these things, you're good to go for the job, is if you can handle this different new generation that is all social media and crazy. Second one is, what type of teacher do you want to be? Do you want to be the cool teacher? Are you going to do a lot of time with the kids? Are you going to invest a lot of time, or are you just going to either work and go home? Third thing, you need to love your subject. Do you really have passion for your subject, or you just don't like it and you want to switch? Fourth thing, you got to remember why. What made you want to teach? If you can keep that in the roughest time of your teaching, you're gonna sustain your job and you're gonna do very well. But if you can't remember your why of why you started teaching, then you're not gonna make it. So those are the four essential things you need to have in order to be a good teacher. So we'll go back to the video.
What is up, YouTube? This video is gonna be basically the worth of being a public school teacher in this new, generation, or in this modern age, social media and everything. So, a little backstory. Teaching here in Texas, in the San Antonio area. So not teaching in the, kind of teaching in the suburbs, outer city. So that's my perspective. And teaching middle school, I would like to have done elementary school. For me, it would have been a little easier, possibly less dedication, or not dedication, but less events and stuff you have to do. And so this video is just going to be about my perspective. Obviously, so everybody's perspective is different, so this is just my perspective. So is teaching worth it? And how my first year was as a teacher. So, backstory, I graduated from UTSA, the University of Texas at San Antonio, blah, 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 in 2023, during the fall. Took me about 4 years to finish my degree, with a half semester of student teaching, internship, something like that. So really, it only took me 4 years, but that's actually really short for a teaching degree, because when you're doing the teaching education route, it takes anywhere from like 4 to 5 years. Some people take 5.5. It depends on how much classes you take, how much you can handle. I took a lot of classes every summer, was back to back taking classes, so I was able to knock everything out in about 4 years. I started in 2018 when I graduated high school, and I finished college at 2023, really. So it was about 4.5 years. And so right after, literally, I had been applying to the school system, to the pool, which wherever principals need you, they basically just pull your name and that's it. So I was doing that for the longest time, building my teaching resume, just getting my lesson plans, and just calling schools, putting the word out, getting networking, just trying to put myself out there. And so as I walked the stage and then was getting ready to go eat with my family after my graduation ceremony, I got 2 calls from some districts, and so I got like 4 or 5 job offers. Very excited. I was really young. I'm still young, right? But I was 22 at the time, fresh out of college, and I was like, oh heck yeah, let's get this job. Let's start making money, because I was not making money. I was a broke college student all the time, working a really bad job. So I took the job offer, and I ended up working as a middle school teacher. And so my degree is a little weird. So I went the music route. You can either go band, choir, orchestra, or theater, somewhat. I ended up just doing choir, so I am a choir director. So it's really fun. And so I ended up taking the position at, I won't say exactly what school and where, just, security stuff. But I ended up taking that to public school, really good district. I went to that district when I was a kid. And so it was great. I mean, I first started, I was getting my feet wet. I was very excited. I had all these plans. I had all this inspiration. It was great. I mean, because I joined midway in January, it was really difficult because the kids were coming back from winter break, and that's when I had gotten the job offer, and they were expecting to see their original teacher there that they bonded with for years. And then here comes this guy, me, totally different teaching style, totally different personality. And they're like, "Where's our teacher?" And I don't know. Apparently she didn't come back for some reasons, and so there was I. And there was a lot of clashing. As a new teacher entering mid-year, not at the beginning of the year, it's really hard. I honestly wanted to quit at the end of the year. It was horrible. It was hard, very hard. And I mean, I don't blame them, but I kind of do, because they know how to act. They know they shouldn't be doing the stuff they were doing. You just got to realize, guys, as a teacher, you're just going to be treated horribly a lot. I mean, I'm not trying to be negative. It's just the baseline, and that varies depending on what district you teach in. If you're doing private, right? A lot of private schools, charter schools, they gotta behave. They gotta want to be there, and their parents are paying money, so they need to get their act right. And if they don't get their act right, then they get kicked out. But in a public school, it's whatever. It's a revolving door. I had a kid. His name was Bobby. Never got off his phone. Told him, try to be nice, build that connection. Didn't listen to me. Every day, write up. Going in and out of the office referral. It didn't work. It's just, if you're in the public school setting, depending on where you teach and how your admin and how your students treat teachers, it can either be pretty good if they like you and you have that bonding that you bonded with the kids, or it could be really bad. So it's all depending really on how you work with the kids. If you're just there to clock in and clock out, you have a monotone, you don't connect with the kids, you don't ask them about their day, about their relationship, their friendship, stuff going on in their life, you're not inspiring, then you're not gonna make it. Or it's gonna just be a very superficial relationship job. Complete the work, complete the assignment, turn it in, bye. And you gotta figure out, what do you want your teaching experience to be? Do you want that? Or do you want to really know these kids, get invested? And it takes a lot of emotional taxation on you. So you gotta realize, if you're gonna be a teacher, what do you want? Do you want it to just be an easy job where you just do assignments, get clock in, clock out, go home, that's it, boom? Or do you want to be invested, go to the kids' basketball games, or go to their little ceremonies or stuff like that, get involved with them, talk to the parents, build that relationship, community? And you don't get paid to do that, just saying. So you gotta really ask yourself, is this something I want to do? I was treated horribly, and yeah, I did make mistakes. I did act a little wrong, I would say, because I was I don't like people disrespecting me, and I'm a hothead, so I had to keep my cool. Sometimes I did lose my cool, because the things they would do and say to me were disgusting and horrible and vile and rude, throwing stuff. It was rough, guys. I mean, like I said, they didn't like me. Clearly they made it known. Throwing throwing chairs, throwing stuff at me, making false accusations, trying to get me fired. It was bad. It was bad. Being a young teacher, I was like, what am I doing right now? I did not deserve or bust my butt 4 years and work crappy jobs just so I can be treated like trash. So you have to have a strong mindset. You got to know what you want to do, what type of teacher you want to be, and then you got to figure out your why. So if you don't know what your why is, you're not going to make it. You got to figure out why you started teaching and what made you inspired, what teacher inspired you, or what event inspired you to become a teacher. If you can remember your why, and you know what type of teacher you want, and you know exactly what you want to study, you want to teach elementary, middle, high school, you'll be able to make it. You just have to be strong-minded. It was a really rough first year. Like I said, I wanted to quit. Kids were hating me. I lost a lot of kids out of my program. I'm an elective program. We need a lot of enrollment, or else we're split, which means we are itinerary teachers. We teach at 2 schools, and I had to lose a lot of kids because they didn't like me. And I can't change who I am. I can only be myself. And so I lost a lot of kids. I ended up being at 2 schools. That's where I'm at right now. And it's a negative and positive thing that I learned from that. But that's just my experience. Is it worth it being a teacher in this generation? With this new generation of all this brain rot on social media and the toxicity of social media on TikTok, kids can't even get off their phone. There's excuses for kids to be on their phone. It's it's a different age. Your mom or dad, your grandpa, taught back then, that ain't the same. I'm sorry to say it. It ain't the same environment. Teachers used to be respected. Yes, there's a lot of teachers who give us a bad rap. They're not doing right things, and they do horrible things. People in power are only good as they can handle their authority, right? Just like Spider-Man. Great power comes great responsibility. A lot of teachers have a lot of power over kids, and they do bad things, and they take advantage of kids. They're mean. they don't really do what they're supposed to be doing, and it makes everyone else look bad. So back then, teachers used to be respected. You used to have some respect. School used to be a really good thing. But now it's like kids their mindset's older. Their middle schoolers are trying to act like high schoolers. They know a lot of adult things, a lot of very like appropriate things. Sometimes they don't want to listen to you. They record you, and their attention span is so low because they're just always scrolling on TikTok. They a lot of the social emotional skills they don't have. So you got to realize there's a lot of these things going into teaching. Are you ready for that? So this is a new generation of teaching. You have to adapt to it. Being a teacher, a best teacher is adapting. Can you adapt to the new generation, right? You might have been teaching 20 years from now. Back in 2010 or 2000, it might have been a different environment from what you're teaching now. And so you got to be ready for that. So big question, is it worth it? I think it is. You're not going to get paid a lot depending on if you teach at a big district or a small town district. If you like finding joy in working with kids, you got to like to work with kids, you like to inspire kids, and you like what you're teaching, then yes. And you're fine with that money not being as much, yes. If you're worried about the money and you want to be banking, unfortunately, it's not going to be there for you. So you got to really do it because you love the kids and you want to make them better, not necessarily the money. And so I think it's worth it if you can accept those things. If you can accept that this is a different generation, you got to know know what type of teacher you want to be. You got to love your subject, and if you're like, just remember your why. If you have all those 4 things, I think it is worth it. But that's just from my perspective. Let me know what your stories are. I can go in a great detail of my horror stories or the greatest wholesome moments I had as a teacher, or what it's like to be at a split teacher doing 2 jobs at 2 campuses and not getting paid for it. Crazy stories. Like I can go on and on, but I started 22. I'm 24 right now. Today is New Year's Eve from 2024. So tonight at 12 o'clock, it's going to be 2025. And so teaching goes by quick. You get old quick. They drain you. It's a lot of emotion. You start getting gray hairs, wrinkles. It's real. So let me know if you have any questions, if you want any more ideas. But I think it's worth it. You inspire the next generation. And very soon, when you get older, you might get those emails or letters saying you inspired them to be a teacher, or you inspired them to major in math or science or music or whatever. So I think it's an amazing thing. You just got to remember your why. Why do you teach? Why do you do what you do every day? And that will save you in those hard moments of teaching when you're in your office crying or yelling. So yeah, that's my experience. My name's Christian. So see you later.